Hi, welcome to this screencast on Ruby Metaclasses Part 4. In this screencast, my main objective is to cover the point I forgot to illustrate. I had mentioned I would be covering it soon, but I forgot to cover it. So this time I will go over that concept, and also there is one more concept I want to introduce here that's not related to Metaclasses series, but it's the basics that's required for upcoming screencast on higher order procedures in Ruby. It's a functional programming technique that could be used in Ruby, and how powerful that technique is you will see in an upcoming screencast. So I want to go back here, and I had mentioned earlier that I would like to show you how the actual methods are getting looked up. So in this case, the class foo. These are ancestors of the inheritance chain. If it's not found in foo, it goes and looks in the object. If it's not found in object, it looks in the kernel module, and the kernel module is actually mixed into the object. So that's how it happens. Okay, so in this case, if I say foo dot method name, if I call this method, it says class method. The class is hidden. It's hidden. It won't show up in the inheritance hierarchy. That's a really very important point to remember. Okay, if the foo first, if it is defined inside of the foo, my method name was inside of here, that will get executed first. Okay, let's say like this. Foo dot new dot method name, then it will invoke the foo method. Okay, so if you have it defined instead of here, its instance method showed into this particular object. You have to create an instance of it and call the method name. Otherwise, if you just call this, it's a class method. So again, object f cannot object foo cannot hold any methods. It's actually looking for the class method. It goes into this class and invokes that method name. And if you have an instance, then in that case, it uses this method name that's declared here. Okay, now let's say we don't have this. Let's not clutter up this. And we didn't define it here. Now it's going to go up the inheritance hierarchy and execute that object method that's in the object. So that's what I was trying to illustrate. Now I want to go to another concept that is useful when I cover another screencast, and that is, let's say, class foo. I have a constructor. It's a variable. Let's say my var, and I initialize my var. Say hello. Just print hello, and then the value of my var. Okay, it's a simple method. Now I'm going to instantiate this class. Let's give it some value. Now comes the action. And variable m is foo object dot method. I'm calling this method. Method is actually method which is in the class object in Ruby. This will actually return a method object, method with a capital M object, and we'll see what that allows us to do in a moment. Okay, so if I call the method, you need to provide the symbol, and later on it's a delayed execution. Whenever you need, you can call that method. That M is basically method object, M dot class. It's a method object. So let's just print invoke that method. It's instance variable, so it has to be like this. Okay. Okay, so if I run it, as you can see, hello my var is initialized to 70. So what does this thing tell us then? The method objects is acting as a closure in this particular object's instance. So instance variables and the value of self remains available. So basically it freezes the state of this particular object, and you have access to those state which has been saved. And you can also pass in some string instead of symbol. You can also just say like this. That would also work. Because you don't have any, it could be any type. So that concludes this short screencast covering meta classes and introductory material for higher order procedures. It's going to come later on. So if you enjoyed this screencast, please recommend me on working with Rails. Thank you. God bless.